Can you hear me?
Thank you very much. I need to say first, thank you also to the organizations. I'm really glad to meet on this event near just 1 year before being there in Vilnius on beginning past December. So this is a different format, but I am really happy to join you. About my speech, I will link with the ending of Blaga's one. We were speaking, or she spoke about collaboration, about the collective efforts, okay? And this is what we are going to discuss now. Okay, the European Cluster Alliance, I need to say that is a private association. We are composed by 15 national association of clusters, joining something like 800 clusters across Europe with representatives from other countries. And that means that we are joining something like 140 or 50,000 of our most innovative businesses, and many universities, research centers, and public institutions. Just for the audience, just to clarify concepts, okay? Clusters, when we speak about cluster, we speak about the geographic concentration of industries. But we, the professionals working on cluster, generally speaking, we relate to the terms of cluster organization. It's important to clarify that, because when you give a cluster a natural concentration of industries, the infrastructure, the team, the methodologies to innovate together, the results are far better. And this is very important to understand. So if we support the collaboration, if we give the collaboration, the collaborative environments, the adequate infrastructure, the results are far better. And this is what we have been doing for many years, okay? But it has been very clear during the crisis, during this year, okay? So for your information, what we did from the cluster community. Beginning March, we offer our full capacities to the European Commission in order to help wherever we could in the fight against the effects of the COVID crisis. And we were at the beginning very involved in the most urgent points, okay? So we were speaking out for sure food and the problems on your supply chain. We were involved on respirators, advanced textiles for masks, and so on. But after that, just the first wave, we have been keeping analyzing what can we do in the different industrial ecosystems, and detecting problems, suggesting solutions, and wherever possible, making them directly, implementing directly from our own resources the best possible solutions for the problems, okay? And now we are working on the support and suggestion of projects for the recovery plans. And this is what is going to be about my presentation, okay? One important concept that the crisis has made very clear for everybody, I think, is that we cannot analyze isolated value chains or ecosystem, if you want, okay? In our current economy, everything is connected. And if you disturb the education system, you have big problems with the rest of them, okay? Or the logistic one, or the food, okay? So we need to study and implement action in co-evolving ecosystems. And on those co-evolving ecosystems, there are keystone agents that are those agents that are connecting different ecosystems and that make them more flexible, more able to better react, okay? And there are different keystone agents for sure, but clusters are one of them. clusters are, in fact, one of the most important of them, okay? And this is related with the topic of my speech, resilience, okay? Resilience is a property of the network, not of the individual nodes. It's very difficult for an individual company to improve his resilience. For sure it's possible, but it's far more easier if you connect, if you are connected, if you have different providers for your supplies, if you have different markets where to sell, and or if you have different support environments sources, okay? And so when we speak about our capacity to be more resilient, we are building strongest networks more dense, better connected between their nodes. And clusters, again, are critical in this area. It's our specialization, okay? So for your information, there are 108 industrial clusters registered in the European Cluster Collaboration Platform related to agri-food. That is a lot, okay? That means near 11,000 SMEs, okay, and large companies. And there are a very good level of qualification of those clusters, or many of those clusters. So we are speaking about 6 that are gold, 5 are silver in our quality system, okay, and many also European cluster partnerships, meaning cross-border collaboration between clusters. That is a very good basis for our collaboration. So we have been analyzing and detecting disruption across the different value chains, and just today, this is a novelty for my speech. It has been published the report, the official report on the European Commission that we developed during the past months, okay? The report on disruption in the European value chains and industrial ecosystem. So you have there the link in the presentation, and if you want, you will be able to read it and consult it, okay? So we detected 84 disruptions. For sure, for most of you, they will be very clear you are inside the sector, okay? But the important point is to take action over there, okay? And so we suggested solutions for those disruptions, and we believe that some of them were correctly implemented or are going to be implemented in the future, okay? For your information, most of the disruptions have a relationship with the operational problems, with the human resources. I don't know in Lithuania, but in many countries there were big problems with the resources of employees, okay? Procurement, it's in your hand, okay? The information. And here you have a summary of the disruptions, the needs, challenges, and trends, and the proposals in order to solve them, okay? I think that we don't have time to go through them, okay? But as I said, the presentation will be at your disposal, okay? So we made some recommendations, okay? More collaboration, for sure, innovation and digitalization, green and circular economy, to readjust the legal framework, to apply programs for re- and upskilling, to improve the workplace, reduce dependencies on foreign markets, and support with fundings. I think that better than the stop here, we could dedicate some, if you have questions sometimes later, okay? I'm going to speak about the program for the recovery and resilience plans. Okay, so you know that they are based on those concepts that you see in the screen. We need to improve our environment, our productivity, taking in kind the fairness and stability of our economy. So we need to improve our capacity for a competitive sustainability. And there are 7 flagships, and it's very important to be aware of them. Okay, and your proposals. So first, our recommendation is to build proposals for those recovery and resilient plans. Okay, your proposals should be related to one of those or several of these flagships. And so we are speaking about power up, renovate, recharge and refuel, connect, modernize, scale up, and reskill and skill. And there are, for sure, big opportunities for many of you on those funding programs and on those flagship areas. Okay, just one clarification that I have find is important, because there are, at least in my environment, some confusion around those funding programs. Okay, here we are speaking not only about the Classicals program for innovation, we are speaking about investment, and the purpose is to make joint efforts, public-private efforts, for multiply our investment capacity. Okay, so but not only about investment on fixed capital, but also human capital and natural capital, and this is very important for you. Okay, and it's something that you should review if you don't know yet, and read carefully about what are the possible projects and the possible investments that could be supported from these funding resources. So I am defending that clusters are a key resource for the implementation of these recovery initiatives. And why? Okay, what you see in the screen is what is the result of our studies, and something that we have written in a letter to the Commissioner Thierry Breton. Okay, and we have a very positive answer from him. Okay, so we call for the recognition of clusters as a strategic agent for the drafting and implementation of the European recovery initiatives. We call to reinforce its support across the European Commission, across the different countries, across Lithuania, if you estimate it. And we call for the clusters present and participation in the different stages of the initiative. So why? Because first, clusters are a key tool for the successful and quick implementation of innovative projects. The problem, at least in several countries, is that perhaps this kind of support could not reach the SMEs, because it's easier, as we have a very short framework, it's easier to just go for the big companies, okay, big agreements. And cluster, we are specialized on just involving in the same projects, in the same actions, both SMEs connected with large companies with the full ecosystem, meaning universities or research centers. So if we want to, for this funding to really reach for the SMEs and bridge them with the leading companies, we could or we should use clusters. And there are very, very efficient and well-tested models for it, okay? We could give one example with the cascade funding of the INNOSUB 1 projects, where clusters or one international coalition of clusters, or it could be at country level, regional level, cluster as specialists on their ecosystem and as very well connected to the reality and needs can mentorize, organize, follow the different projects of the SMEs, aligning them with the official priorities and with the market interests. Okay. The second reason is that clusters can help to properly allocate the funding for economic value creation, and this is related with the real knowledge about what is happening in the market or in the industry. Okay. And this capacity to have a real-time information at the end is results in savings of resources and saving knowledge, good practice and expertise. Okay, we have demonstrated that we can be strong and resilient partners. I have been explaining it before. I don't need to stop here, but this something that is very well perceived from the European Commission and many other governments levels. Okay, we bring valuable knowledge to the drafting of the recovery plans, and that is important. There are many references by now on Europe. You have 3 in the slide, 7 clusters led by the Association of Pôle de Compétitivité in France, submitted a strong number of recommendations to the French plan, and they were integrated in it. And they are helping not only in the drafting, but also they will help in the development of these plans. Okay. In Flanders, Belgium, the regional government convocate the clusters, and they have been participating very actively in the designing of the recovery plans. And here in Spain, we have signed one agreement with a common agreement with the network of technological centers, the network of technological parks, the business incubators network, and the main ICT association. And the 5 of us together have presented a global plan to the Spanish government, and we are negotiating, and it looks like we will be a strong part of the not only the drafting but also the development of the projects at the maximum level. And this is for now all that I have to share with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for encouraging, shall I say, presentation, because as Mr. Aleshunas, Augustus Aleshunas said, that collaboration is very, very important. And I would like to ask, since the clusters in Lithuania and maybe in this region are still not doesn't play, or not very important, or they don't play a big part in our thinking, in our economy. What is the best example for Lithuania as a small country to follow in the European Union? What are the most advanced cluster culture, shall I say, in Europe? Where shall we look at?
Thank you. I need to say that the Lithuanian cluster are very active in our European Cluster Association. In fact, you are part of our board of directors. Diedrus is part of our board of directors. If you ask for references, fortunately, we have many references of excellent clusters across Europe. And in the agri-food industry, for example, you have a good reference on Romania, okay, and for sure in the south countries in Catalonia, in Italy. There are fortunately many good references. From the side of the AgriFood, if you speak about the policy of support for clusters, there are also very good references. France, Spain, Germany with the program Go Cluster, Denmark, many countries across Europe are supporting strongly the cluster community. And in fact, we are growing in recognition, you know. And one of the important point is that precisely that recognition is very it's critical, in fact, for us to be part of the roundtables, to be part of the boards planning future activities, because that means that the most important or most innovative industry ecosystem are presented on those plans. It's not just for ourselves, it's for the industry and the innovation capacities that we are representing, you know. But fortunately, there are many examples, good examples across Europe.
Super. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for the presentation.